Yes, so good afternoon and welcome again to all our online viewers to this another in our series of Candid Conversations. And today I think we have a very exciting topic. We're talking insurance today, and we have two of the giants in the industry. With us today, representing Fraser Fontaine and Kong Limited, is its president and CEO, Gerard Fontaine. And of course, we have Massy United Insurance, and representing them is our branch manager, Winsome Gibbs. So welcome, Gerard. Welcome, Winsome. We're looking forward to an engaging conversation today with you both.
Welcome to the conversation.
Yeah, and Arlene. Oh, let me just introduce myself. I'm Ian Neita from the Jamaica Chamber of Commerce. And as usual, we are working along with ActionCOACH Limited to bring you these conversations. And today we have Arlene Martin with us as usual. So welcome, Arlene.
Thank you.
And we getting ready.
Appreciate it.
Lovely. So we're getting ready to kick off with, we're still in the COVID season, unfortunately. Fortunately for some businesses, actually, as we have learned. And our audience are always curious to find out how have you adjusted your business from a business model standpoint, your go-to-market strategies, your operation strategies, how you're relating to your customers in this new environment, and just use the opportunity to tell us a little bit about your business as well. Gerard, you want to just kick off for us?
Yeah, sure. Thank you, Ian and Arlene, for having us. I appreciate you guys inviting us here to chat today. But that's a very, very relevant question. And I think, Winsome and I probably have answered this thing in many different formats before. It's, when COVID was just starting out and making its way through the US, obviously, whenever the US sneezes, Jamaica catch cold. Is that how to say it goes? But we recognized it early that this was going to be a problem. And I think for a lot of members in the insurance space, we tried our best to start putting in some of our risk management practices early. A lot of the problems which we would have to deal with is customer facing, how to interact with our customers, how to make sure that they're safe. And then for us at FFK, the number one thing that we took very seriously is our staff's safety. Because immediately when COVID came around, we had lockdowns. How was that going to impact the business? How is that going to impact people's lives? So what we did is about 2 weeks before the lockdown, we went into a trial run. So we kind of took the office offline and had people work from home and tried to work out all of the problems that we would have gotten ourselves into if there was a total lockdown, and getting ourselves really warmed up for the real event. And that gave us a good opportunity to figure out a lot of the problems that we were going to see. And it was really an eye-opening event. I must tell you, COVID has definitely made a significant impact on our business and the way that we go about our lives. And it's just something that we're trying to still to this day work on and managing.
Absolutely. And Winsome, has it been any different for you?
No, pretty similar.
So you're affected on a global scale.
Yes, we are, because we're a regional company. We have offices in 19 territories. So as you can imagine, we had to quickly change gear very, very quickly when the pandemic started. Similar to what Gerard has said, we recognized that we needed to first and foremost ensure that our staff was safe, ensure that we created an environment for our customers to continue to do business with us with very little or no disruption at all. So we actually closed most of our offices for over a 6-week period, and persons work from home. We had to make adjustments to our systems, which we did quickly, so that persons were able to operate efficiently from home. As it relates to our Jamaica branch, over time we decided that, okay, we're not a large office space, so we don't have a lot of persons within the space. So we were able to just run what we call a hot desk, where we said, all right, you know what, let us split our staff in two. Half of the team would work in office and half work from home. And that has worked very well for us so far. So that way, customers was able to reach us whether they want us online, and if in the rare occasions that we'll have one or two persons pop up at office, we always have persons in office who are able to serve them nonetheless. Answer the phones, take care of those things. I mean, albeit we transfer the phone lines to sales and all of that, so that it didn't matter where we were, our customers were always able to access us. But you know, this has been it's a trying and challenging time, but we realized that, you know, the show must go on, and so we had to do what we needed to do to ensure that nobody is left behind. Everybody gets taken care of.
Well, that's good, because no script was written for how we deal with this. So it's good that you have really made all these adjustments. But there are some legislations that I think can enable the new online environment. And I just wanted to ask you about, you know, the legislation covering execution of documents online, because I know now you can't physically interact, so we need to sign online, and the legislation's protecting the validity of those contracts and those executions. Also, we've been told that at some point, you know, if you're in a road traffic stop, you should be able to just show your documents online, so that it reduces the, you know, the need to contact in this environment. And then, of course, the other legislation that I'd like to ask how you feel about that impacting your business is the Data Protection Act. I don't know if it's something that is, you know, you're beginning to think about in respect of how, you know, how privacy is and confidentiality is kept as far as your documents are concerned.
Yeah, I mean, the industry is changing. Insurance industry for a long time wanted to be more digital. And of course, the Data Protection Act is coming into play, and also electronic signatures have been an issue in the past. Insurance companies have been wanting to be able to do electronic cover notes and do electronic certificates, do policies online, to try to get customers get to the customers in a more efficient way, but the legislation has just been very slow in allowing us to do so. We're also regulated entities. Financial Services Commission regulates us, so we may have to make sure that those and of course, you know, those we work within the guidelines. And insurance is a contract, so you know, once that contract becomes tested, it has to go through courts. And if it is, and until that legislation goes through, they won't allow, you know, a digital contract. So it's something that we're dying for. We actually really want to move in that direction. A lot of the industry has been working. I'm sure Winsome would comment on this as well. Is on, as you're rightly saying, moving certificates and cover notes electronically. We have what is the worked with TAG to create a system.
Yes.
To be able to show if you have coverage. So if you get stopped by a policeman, they can immediately check their phones and see if the coverage is actually in place. So the industry as a whole is trying to make strides to improve. In this way.
Yeah. Well, yeah, let me just add to what Gerard has said there. As an industry, we always ensure the privacy, of course, of our customer information. That has always been our posture. But with this new legislation, and as Gerard mentioned, the whole the industry is collaborating with the TAJ and the constabulary force in working together with having a common system where customers' information, we will communicate via that portal, like for a motor insurance and so on. But as it relates to security, like I said, that was always something that we as an industry practiced in protecting the privacy of information for our customers. So this legislation, yes, there are some, you know, aspects of our business that we will have to adjust, of course, to ensure that we're compliant. But for the most part, it won't be a difficult task, because we always take our customer information as information that we only have access to because of the nature of the business that we do, and so we treat it accordingly.
Okay.
Right. So you know what, in the past we became accustomed to insurance companies, insurance providers working hand in glove with the the brokers and the agencies. But there has been some developments recently that should indicate that that relationship is not as strong as it used to be. Am I right on that? Is it that insurance companies are now dealing directly with their clients and therefore minimizing the role of the agency and brokers? No, Winsome, you're shaking your head.
No, right, Winsome?
And Gerard is nodding. So I want to hear what that relationship is like now. Winsome.
I don't think we, as an industry, we value our broker and agent relationship. We maintain, I'm not sure, where the source of what you just said came from, but we maintain a very, very strong relationship with our business partners. As a matter of fact, here at Massy, I can tell you that 90% of the business that we do is via brokers. And so broker is a very, very important part of our business model. Brokers and agents are very, very critical in our business and in our business model.
Lovely.
No, I agree. The brokers and insurance companies do work hand in glove, and they still continue to do so today. I think you'll have various insurance companies that have different strategies to get to market. Insurance brokers also have different spaces within insurance. Some are very transactional and some are very risk management oriented. And you're going to need a broker throughout as the business becomes more complicated. And insurance broker really helps to make sure that the guidance is there and that the policies that you're purchasing reflect what you actually want to achieve. Insurance companies have a different role in the space, making sure they price and underwrite the business accordingly. So I think the both of us, FFK is one of the larger brokers in Jamaica, and everybody claims that word now, but we do a lot of business with all our partners, and we get a lot of support from the insurance market. And I think Winsome is right. It's an important rule for both of us to continue to work together.
Very encouraging to hear that.
Yeah, and I have a question, and it's based on what you just said, Gerard. It replaces a previous one I had, because you've spoken about risk, or you've mentioned risk twice. However, when you spoke about the role of the broker now and how you help your clients, could you tell me, please, the relationship with brokers with your business clients? And really, it's just your view. Are you seeing enough of businesses getting insurance products? And what are some of the things that you're finding as you're working with your business clients?
So when you're running a business, right? Business is a very risky proposition. When you're an entrepreneur, it's you're taking a lot of risk. You're putting your money, putting your money up, and you want to try to figure out how to make a profit. And along the way, the business climate changes daily. We're going through one of the big changes right now with COVID. So you need a partner that's going to constantly help you to mitigate or manage these risks. So some risks you can manage internally. You can decide to, not go electronic banking rather than use cash, or whatever the risks may be that in your particular business. But you need a partner to help you to analyze what these risks are. A partner that has experience in the space, so they can benchmark against risks that have already happened. They can say, this is what may happen if you go down this road, or may happen if you go down this road, and then find out also ways to mitigate those risks by buying either insurance policies or putting procedures in place. So as your business grows, it's super important to have a partner that understands that business is risky. And people think that insurance is an expense, but it's not an expense. It's a financial tool to be able to make sure that you can continue. You can continue your business in the future.
Yes.
When you buy a house, the first check you write it to the bank, and the second one is the insurance company, just to make sure that nothing happens. So I think I think that's where we see ourselves in the market.
Okay. And Winsome.
No.
Follow back. No,
I was just about to endorse what Gerard said about how important insurance is to investment. I mean, no one will give you a loan if you have no insurance to secure, whether it's the vehicle that you're buying or the machinery or the property that you're investing in, you know. So insurance has always been an important part of business and risk mitigation, and that will always continue. I mean, it's one of the tools that is critical to ensuring that, you know, when you put whether your life savings or whatever you have into a business with proper insurance in place, you can go to bed and sleep and not worry about what if something happened tomorrow. Am I going to have to start from scratch? Yeah. So it's really, it's an important part of even the sustainability of our country.
Absolutely.
Right. So
how does COVID fit into all of this as a risk? Can I claim loss of profits insurance if COVID has resulted in my, you know, revenues going down? Is there a potential for putting in a claim for something like this?
You want a complicated answer or the simple answer?
For today's session.
So, I mean, it's a complicated question because it really boils down to how the policy is written.
Yeah.
But in Jamaica, the treaties that we have, COVID is not a peril. So you find that you know you're not able to. I don't want to give you a straight yes or no because it is a little bit more complicated than a yes or no. But in Jamaica, it's the policies really don't reflect COVID as being a peril.
I see.
Right.
Winsome.
Yeah, just want to add to that. Gerard is correct in that the policies where there is such an insurance available, but it was never something that was sold in Jamaica, and so. The treaty, the reinsurance treaties and the policies that we have now does not include coverage for pandemic.
Okay, let me ask, because, you know, one of the things that you mentioned, and there's a comment here, we have a couple of comments from persons just endorsing a couple of the statements that you made. And going to what you've said, I found, and I'm a business coach, you're working with business owners and they speak about the relationship with their banking partner, and that's their regular operational banking, but also the investment side of things. You don't typically hear about insurance when you're talking about your financial strategy or your risk management strategy. And so it typically comes in as a requirement, or when it happens to come up. How should businesses be more strategic in incorporating insurance as tools in their overall framework? And what are some of those finance tools? Because you did use a term as finance tools. What are some of those finance tools that they should be looking at that are insurance products in their business? So Winsome, we can start with you, and then Gerard, I'd love for you to respond as well.
There are various insurance products that we have that are very, very important to sustaining and protecting business. So you have your property, for example. If you own the business, you need to ensure the building, you need to ensure that the building is covered. But if you're in a manufacturing business, for example, you need to ensure that the machinery, we have machinery breakdown insurance, we have consequential loss insurance that protects loss as a result of one of your perils triggering, you know, loss or damage to your property. But I want to mention something for the domestic customers. As I sat over the last couple of weeks and I watched all that has happened with the flooding in various places, it occurred to me that as an industry, we're gonna, you know, have to do some more work in getting that message out there to householders, that they can insure the contents in their homes. I watch a number of homes over the last couple of weeks where the houses were totally flooded, you know, beds, televisions, all of these very important items for comfort were damaged. And I felt that maybe we need to talk a little bit more about content insurance as a product, as a means for some of these persons, that they can have them covered. Even as we transition to this almost online life, and with this lockdown of, you know, all of us being on the inside, people, your computers, your cell phones, your television, on which, I mean, my television now is such a very important part of my life, because when the boredom and everything gets to you, it's the one thing that you can go home, kick back and relax and watch. But a lot of people lost items like those, and I realized that some persons didn't realize that they could cover those items. So there's some clear opportunities there for us as we continue to help to, play our role in making people's lives comfortable. So content insurance, or some people call it renter's insurance, is something that is not, maybe we don't talk about it a lot, or maybe we do, but I don't know if we're getting the listening. So I want to use this opportunity to talk about it here, and just to let people know that you can buy, whether you own the house or not, you can insure the things that are on the inside of your house, and I encourage you to do so. You need to talk to your brokers or your agent, or come and talk to us there at Massy. We can help you secure those items.
Winsome, before Gerard comes in, just to follow up on that, what advice would you have for those business people or even employees who are moving their offices home? It's now, a home is more than just a domestic environment. Now it's a home office environment. Is there any advice that they need to have? Any public liability if people are coming there to see them on business? Is that a new reality for you?
Truth be told, Ian, we don't see customers at our homes. It's strictly electronic. So whilst I work from home, I worked from home last week. But if for whatever reason I need to see a customer, then I'd get dressed and come to the office and use the boardroom, because my home was not insured, was not set up to see customers. And so whether we have to rent a meeting space or something, but the point is, we don't generally, in our business, I don't see customers at home. I don't know if Gerard can add anything there, but I know for us, even for my team here, for the business development team, we come back to office if for whatever reason a customer insists, of course, on seeing us face to face, and we have to ensure even then that we're observing all COVID protocols. So that's our practice at Massy.
Okay.
Similar. What we try to do is, in these particular times, you have to put the customer first. You have to think about how you're going to make sure that their lives are easier in managing all of the problems that they're going to having to deal with. Customers right now are trying to manage staying safe at home, managing online schooling, the various problems that are new because of this whole environment that we live in. So, for us at FFK, what we have done is that we've tried to move a lot of the business online. So we've made it in reach out to our customers more. We'll be calling them, sending them the information, creating a payment portal for them so that they can pay online. We've always provided them, through the tools that are available for direct transfers, but we're trying to find a way now to make life easier for them. Give their renewal, make sure their renewals get to them in time, quick turnarounds, so it doesn't become a strain on their lives. So for us, we've been focusing a lot on the client and what they and how to improve their service to them without creating any more interruption.
And Gerard, if you could continue and add to that, what are your recommendations for some of those products that you have or that you're aware of that businesses, that companies really need to consider as part of their suite of things related to investment, sustaining the business? What are those things that should be incorporated just like they have other financial products or risk products?
So we do both general and employee benefits here at FFK. So we do the whole suite of insurance products. And I think one of the most important things that you have to do is take care of your staff. So making sure that there is available health insurance for them, making sure that it's adequate for whatever you have. At FFK, we have a couple of new products which we have launched this year. One of them is an online wellness program, whereby it's called Burn Along, and it's for our corporate clients, whereby you're able to have these group. I don't know if you're familiar with it. It's almost like a group workout session, a lot like a Peloton kind of vibe. Okay. And with that, you also have coaches on there, which may be able to help with various different aspects of your life, coping with COVID, coping with balance in your life. All of these different formulas are found on our platform. We've spearheaded and partnered with providers for telemedicine so that you can stay at home and manage your illnesses that you may have. We're built out a wellness in our wellness platform as well. We have built out some talks. So we've had town halls to be able to help the employees manage the stresses that they have to deal with. On the general side, we've been focusing on what we think is becoming a major risk right now because of the environment is cyber. They're now that everything is at home and people are using their personal Wi-Fi and personal laptops, things become more vulnerable. I don't know if you guys experience this, but there's a lot of phishing, which is people sending spam emails all day long and trying to get you to click on them. And of course, that I don't know if we have gotten the impact of it here in Jamaica, but overseas, where there seems to be a lot of claims on this. The claims for cyber are horrendous. You're talking people being ransomed for $200,000, $300,000 each time, and they're trying to find ways to get their business back up and running, and that can be a massive disruptor, especially now in COVID. Imagine you wake up one morning and your entire business is locked. So those are a couple of tools that we've been trying to help out with our customers for this period. And I think they have been appreciative of us constantly thinking about them and thinking about the concerns that they have. One thing that we always tell our clients, and Winsome will endorse this as well, is your business interruption policy. You must review your business interruption policy, because insurance is like a mirror, right? It wants to mirror your business and how it's performing. You want to make sure that the values that you have are exactly what the replacement values are, and the revenues that you declare are close to a good estimate of what they're going to be, and that will impact your premiums and also impact your claims for the year. So it's super important to make sure that those things are declared and are analyzed when you're speaking with your broker.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, well, I'm glad you touched on the topic of the cybersecurity because it's very new to us and it is dynamic. We can't keep up with the methods that are being used right now. And it's very difficult, but for us in business, it represents one of the biggest risks because at the end of the day, your data is your biggest asset.
To life,
yeah.
I'm wondering, what is being done to sort of mitigate? What can we say to businesses to help to raise that threshold to prevent or to minimize that kind of hacking and phishing and all of that? Is there a move on by you, the provider?
You have to start with education.
Education.
The important part. You have to educate your team, educate the management, educate yourself about all of the problems that will happen with phishing and with cyber attacks. Next is working with your providers, to create a strong firewall or protective systems to make sure that you have the best antivirals that you can have. But the hackers are 24/7 job. They're trying their best every day to disrupt your business. So you really have to do your best to protect yourself. And the Data Protection Act, when that comes in, it's going to create more pressure on businesses to take it very seriously, and also for them to find ways to purchase insurance to mitigate a lot of those risks, because you would have to showcase that you've taken the steps to be able to do everything possible to protect your client's data.
Okay, thanks. Gerard, I noticed you're going to comment, Winsome, and I'm going to ask you to add something.
I was just endorsing what Gerard is saying.
Because so I'm coming to you, so you could add it. He had an opportunity to share about products that they've developed at this time. Could you also share, please, about any products or services that you've had to develop in order to meet the requirements of this new environment?
For me, for us at Massy, I think we didn't develop any new product, but what we've had to do was adjust. I like to talk about one of the things that COVID has taught us to do is to adjust and to adapt. And so what we've had to do is look at existing products, and where customers are asking for adjustments here or there, we try our best to meet them halfway, because we recognize that, you know, these are tough times for everyone, and we want to make sure that our customers know that we are here for them in the good and the bad times. So we've had to do some adjustments in terms of our packaging of products, and we've had to do adjustments in terms of even payment plans, options that we offer to our customers. That's where I find we've been asked for the most part to make adjustments, and we've been doing them, tweaking here and there, just to ensure that we can continue, customers can continue to afford their insurance, you know, based on the direction that the spends are going in now. A number of our customers, I mean, some persons have lost jobs or have had to take cut in salaries. So normally the people who would normally pay you and pay you in full, they're now coming to you and saying, listen, I can't afford to pay you in full, but can you help me out here? And we find ways. That's where we found ourselves making the most adjustments.
Okay, so and that's interesting. So there are a couple of comments there, and where we want to go into a couple of areas a little more deeply. And one of them is looking at risk and how it is that you've had to change risk assessment, risk management in your profile. Have you taken that at an industry level or at a company level? So I'd love to hear from you, so that you're educating the listeners and especially business persons in terms of how are you now viewing, how are you now assessing your clients when it comes to that kind of assessment for risk products. There's that, and tied to it is, so you're informing us now and someone says, my goodness, I really need to look into business interruption policy. I need to have one. What do I look at? And that business person might be coming to you now, however, coming to you from having their business being impacted negatively by COVID. And so their risk factor may have changed, not positively for them. However, now they have a need for your product, or they're recognizing the need. So it's just how you balance it. And so I'd love for you both to speak a little bit more about now looking at that risk and the timing for someone to approach an insurance company to begin to build something out. So please, let's hear from you on that.
All right.
Look ready to go.
Gerard, I'll go first. So we've been forced to look at, I want to talk about risk assessment in the strictest form. Mm-hmm. So as an industry, traditionally, one of the things we would do when it comes to risk is, for example, we would do site visits so that we can do a walkthrough with customer, so that we can get a good sense of what the housekeeping is like, because what sort of a risk mitigation systems and procedures that they have in place. So we tend to do that traditionally. Now with COVID, in a lot of instances, we're not able to do that. So what we do, we have to resort to what we classify in this industry as utmost good faith. So you know your risk better than I do. And so we talk to you, whether via video conferencing or however we communicate, so that you share with us what are the material, facts about your risk that you need to tell us. And us as insurer, we too sit and we take you through your policy bit by bit, so that you understand the contract that you're getting into. And this is important in our pricing factor, and this is critical to, how we decide what types of cover this particular customer, because it's never a one-size-fits-all situation. It's always, you have to sit with the client and understand what are the needs that are specific to this particular business or industry. And then from there, you will say to them, okay, well, you have property, so you need some property insurance. If you're a contractor, we're going to say to you, you need to cover the contract. So you need contractors, all risk insurance. You need to cover your employees. You need to cover people against liability to others, that kind of thing. So when we sit with each client, or when we talk to them, however we talk to them in assessing their risk, these are some of the things that we talk about. And these are the things that influence the pricing of the product and the guidance that we give the client moving forward.
Okay, thank you. Gerard?
Well, that was a hard question, and I tell you that you knocked that one out the park. I don't know what you know. So when you're working with a client, each one has a different risk appetite, different risk, and some of them are in very different businesses, and you really have to spend the time. And I think that's the important part, really spending the time to go through these risk factors and discuss them fully, plus what the business does. Winsome talked about material facts, understanding or being honest with yourself when you're thinking of how the business is going to operate and the risks that it has. Try to work with your broker. I can't do enough. I mean, you really need to sit down with your professional to help guide you through these pitfalls, these potholes. And I think just doing that, you'll be able to come up with solutions to create products for any circumstance. And then, the important thing is that when you go through this process, at the end of it, you want to get to a place where you feel comfortable that you have either transferred out all your risk, or at least you know where all your risk is. So at that point, you can make a conscious decision of either purchasing to deal with it or rolling the dice and seeing how it happens. And that's a lot of business people do that to this day. They may not go through this enterprise risk management and have a great sheet written down and all of this, but they make choices on a day-to-day basis to try to manage the businesses. And the most successful businesses you see are the ones that deal with it the best, in my opinion.
Okay. And a very simple question this time is, do you have dedicated advisors for businesses, or do you have general, and so a business owner is going to speak to you about their business as well as their wealth and life, etc. Just to inform persons who are listening when they're contacting you, how it works. Do they ask for specifically for a business advisor, or is it that any of your advisors can help?
So if you want, you can call me. It's not a problem.
All right. Winsome, they call.
Same here. Call me.
Same here.
You can call me. But even if you are not able to talk to me directly, you get any member of our business development team, or whether within our branch or within our branch network, is able to advise you. To provide you with good insurance advice.
I asked that question because I think you've shared some information and people may be moving towards that. And I just want to know that when they call, because we have the numbers there, are they asking specifically for a business advice, or is it all of that? So thank you very much. Thank you so much for sharing on that.
We can always call. That's fine.
Our team here, we have 100 members here. All of them who we think are professional, who are professional. They can ask for, if it's general insurance terms, ask for general insurance division. The head of that division will help them out. Or if it's employee benefits related, ask for our employee benefits team. And our members here will point in the right direction.
Good information. I want to talk a little bit about, the impact of climate change. I mean, we may not all agree on what causes the new weather pattern, but we can certainly agree on the volatility that we're seeing in the weather patterns. And I think this year has a record in our lifetime for number of hurricanes. And so we're seeing more hurricanes, more forest fires, more flooding, and so on. Can you just, for businesses now who are planning ahead, can you just crystal ball for us? What is your thinking in relation to the future, the next 5 years, on sort of premiums? Where are premiums going based on what we're seeing?
I'll let Winsome take that one.
Yes.
So that's a hard question. But certainly, as an industry, we try our best to keep the price within an affordable range, of course, but also you're correct in saying that natural disasters does influence the pricing of insurance. In insurance, we say the premium of many pays the claims of few. And so it's a pool, right? So we purchase from reinsurers, and a lot of times we get the question, but there was no disaster, I didn't have a claim. But it doesn't quite work like that. So we purchase reinsurance from our international providers, best in class. And so depending on what is happening with catastrophes in other areas, the prices might go up or down. So it's not easy for us to sit here and predict to you that within the next 5 years, we're able to hold the price of insurance as is. And we're not, it's not either easy for us to say, okay, and it will increase by a 5% or 1% or whatever. It's kind of difficult to give an exact prediction. But certainly we know based on weather patterns that we consistently in one area within the region or globally where our reinsurance providers operate, that they are experiencing losses as a result of some of these natural disasters that you mentioned. And so that directly influences the prices of how we offer our insurance product in Jamaica.
Okay.
And as a reinsurer,
okay.
I don't know if I quite answer the question, but I can't give you a specific answer or percentage to say, oh boy, it's going to be a 5% or a 1%, because the truth is I can't, because it is influenced by weather condition for the most part, or the extent to which we as an industry experience losses.
So I have a related question to that. Winsome.
Or not.
Okay, so my related question to that, Winsome, is, and it's a tricky situation that they're caught in, because you have declining income or revenue, whether it's individual or business. You recognize the importance of insurance, but right now you see it as a line item for expense. And some people might be in a tough position as they're looking at things. So it's just been proven that insurance is important, but you're faced with a realistic situation, and you see the value of it, and tough decision to make. Premiums might be going up, and you may say it's still worth it to maintain it. While you may not have much control over the premium in terms of what that value is and how it's going to shift, is there any flexibility or innovation in terms of even payment, of frequency, terms? Are you finding that you're giving waivers or breaks? I know people had probably, like financial institutions, people with loans, they were giving them a break period for some of them. Where does the flexibility come in for you now, for the insurance company, to not only maintain the people that you have now, even though they might be going through some tough times, but actually bringing in new people and making it favorable for them?
I think I mentioned before that one of the things that we've had to do as an industry to, just to ensure that we continue to protect the people who've supported us all along is make adjustments in terms of how we payment plans that we offer them. In some cases, you might be able to secure premium financing from external institutions, but for the most part, what we've been asked to do, so traditionally, persons would pay you insurance. Some persons are able to pay up front. For those who are not able to pay up front, what we've been doing or had to do is to maybe extend payments over a 3 month period. That in itself is a requirement by regulators. It's very difficult for us to go beyond a 90-day, but we do our best to ensure that we work something out with the customers, because we want to be here for them, or we want them to understand and know that we're here for them now in the challenging times as much as we are in the good times. And so we're always looking at ways, sometimes just how we simply package a product, or what sort of advice we can give them, especially through our brokers, to say, all right, maybe you can probably do this at this point, or maybe some persons generally have like all their renewals, their policies falling due at the same time. You make suggestions to them that maybe you can extend this one for here, or you change up the policy period a little bit so that everything is not due at the same time, so you have to pay all that premium at the same time. Those are just some of the little things that we can do. But one thing we make sure of is to work as best as possible with our clients. We're not leaving anybody behind.
Okay, thanks.
I think.
Gerard, did you want to answer that, Gerard?
Gerard.
I mean, I must tell you that during this period, I think the insurance companies did look at their customers and worked with them through the difficult periods that they may have. There was all sorts of arm reaching and helping out that I saw. I don't want to get into specifics, but I think that they definitely did try to reach out to the customers and help them as much as possible during these periods. And those questions, those decisions are real difficult decisions. I mean, if revenue has dropped by 70%, and you're now looking at your insurance renewal, you really have to be asking very difficult question. Do I pay this premium for a hurricane which may come or may not come? Climate change is a real thing, according to in the insurance industry. I think the reinsurers definitely believe in climate change. And what's the choice that I have to make? I think credit, extending of credit has been good. The insurance companies have done the best within the guidelines that they've been given for extended credit. Working with financiers to help them out. The banks have been very helpful in extended credit. So, I think as Jamaica, we've all tried to help out as much as possible to keep things going. But yeah, it's a difficult decision. And my only, if you're going to have to make those decisions, I think as well, I can't reinforce this enough, is to talk to your broker, or if you don't have a broker, call FFK, talk with us. And the important part is deciding what risks you can take and what risks you can't take. It's like everything in life, you kind of have to make tough decisions.
Arlene, before we wrap, I just have one final. I just want to get your thoughts on, as Gerard, you're representing your customers and you want the best deal for them. Can you just tell us quickly how you go about choosing a provider to get the best deal? And then Winsome, you could also share with us how you go about choosing your reinsurers, so that we all end up with the best deal for us.
It's kind of the same.
Price.
Yeah, because for insurance companies have brokers as well. Insurance companies have reinsurance brokers, which do this pretty much the same job that a retail broker does. So for us, what we do is we gather as much information as possible, and we try to go to every market. Experience will show us where the best markets are and what companies work best for what particular type of industry. But we present everything to our clients. We negotiate Winsome, what's the word I'm looking for? Feverishly, to make sure that we get the best result for our client. And we make sure that the client is aware of all of the information, and we work with them to make that decision. Some insurance companies are better at certain things than others. Some specialize in various classes of business than others. Some policy wording are different from others. So we just have to make sure that the clients are aware of all of that, because you may be choosing a policy that is cheaper, but the policy wording is more restricted.
Yes.
Which means that when there's a claim, you're not going to be very happy. So all of those, it's about transparency and openness with your client.
Excellent. Winsome.
Certainly, it's never about the cheapest for us. What we value the most is the security. So Massy United is an AIM-Best rated company. We've had a A- excellent rating for a number of years. And in what that speaks to is the financial strength of our company. So as we seek reinsurance, that is one of the most critical components for us. So we would never place reinsurance, for example, companies that is anything less than an A-rated company, for example. So when we're looking, it's not about price, it's about ensuring that once we say you are the company we want to sit behind us and our customers, that your financial ability in the event of a disaster is strong, and you'll be able to, pay our claims, pay them on time once something happens. So that's what's important to us. It's never ever about the price for us. It's about the financial strength of the company that backs us.
Excellent.
Ian, just one quick comment before you wrap. I think it's important always to recognize some things. Gerard, I don't think you know this, but I'm a customer of yours. Meaning, so my the first thing that I needed to get many years ago in Jamaica, someone said to me, "Oh gosh, call," and gave me a name at FFK, and it's been a number of years, and I've never had any reason to wish to change. And there was one of the things that you said earlier about your team in terms of them being knowledgeable, responsive, proactive, sending you the information before your claim expires, following up, sending you an email. You do have a good team that looks out for the customers, and I just wanted to mention that. As I say, you probably had no idea as a customer of yours I am, and I've never had any reason to even consider looking elsewhere in more than 15 years, I would say.
Wow. We really appreciate it. And that's and we'll consistently try to meet and exceed your expectations with everything that we try to do. Thank you so much. We need to get Ian on now.
Yeah. I don't know if he's not. I'm just saying.
Well, you know what, Gerard, I mean, Arlene, I don't know about Arlene, but her testimonial came free. I mean, I would have to arrange a fee for that kind of testimonial. But
they've been great, Ian. I must tell you, they always take care of me.
I have had to deal with Fraser Fontaine on many occasions, so I endorse that. And of course, Massy United Insurance is also very, very close to me. I mean, the chairman, Howard Hall, and us go way back. And I mean, part of a conglomerate of companies that, provide strength. So Arlene Martin of ActionCOACH, it has been a pleasure working with you. I hope we brought some gems to our viewers and the businesses that tune in with us every week, because I certainly feel that Gerard Fontaine of Fraser Fontaine and Kong and Winsome Gibbs of Massy United Insurance, they demonstrated to us that the insurance industry is alive and well and coping with the new environment that we are operating in. And I just want to thank you both for sharing with us so much information, so many tips that our businesses can take advantage of. And it's always good to know that in Jamaica and in the Caribbean, we have world-class companies that can set the standard. So it has been our pleasure to engage with you today, and we look forward to working with you through the Jamaica Chamber of Commerce, of course, of which both of you are members, and of course we appreciate that membership, and we'll continue to work together. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thanks.
Really
It was our pleasure.
Very good.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right.